Welcome, these will be my thoughts on The Flash, Season 1, Episode 5, Plastique, the episode rated TVPG, so this video be, there will be spoilers for the Arrowverse leading up to and including this episode, not for anything Arrowverse or anything else for that matter that came out after this episode first premiered. Another episode that I absolutely loved. Might talk this fast for the entire video this time because my back is really sore and I'm not going to be able to get it treated until Monday, so this is a hypothetical potential solution. So really thought it worked well in this episode, this thing of how it's taking a toll on the relationship between Iris and Barry, that he is having to keep this secret and having to try to get her out of writing these blogs. And this thing of, he tries to get her to, he says, you're not even putting your name on it, how important could it be? And then she starts putting her name on it, so him and his big mouth. And I like how the interview, the IMDb trivia, as usual, worth, reading, noted there's a similarity. I picked up on that as well between the interview there and the one in the 1978 Superman movie. This was almost the opposite of that in some respects, because there he just spills everything, and here Barry tells her very little. I like the moment where, so he's like running around various places. At one point he stands behind her and she like starts to turn around but then stops because she's like, okay, evidently he does not want me to look directly at him. And I liked when the poor Kate. Yes, Kate, you do sound like Felicity. I guess it is catching. And Cisco falling for Bet in this episode. I really appreciated him apologizing after, indeed, he was being inappropriate. And super cool that Barry can run up and down buildings and across water. That's something they're really gonna be able to use in cool ways in later episodes as well, in addition to this one, because it really opens up what he can do. And they're continuing to really use the super speed in compelling ways. And I like that we don't immediately see that Plastique has powers. Like, at first you just see, okay, there was definitely an explosion for her to be able to get into that room. But, like, did she, what was that, like, a superpower? Or did she just use a small explosive device, But, it is revealed, it is the, meta-human power thing. And I really appreciated, I saw in IMDb trivia, there was someone who noted that, this was in part about meta-human ethics. I thought they did a fantastic job on that. And I really love that she is this sort of anti-hero rather than straight-out supervillain, because with those powers, you could easily see how it could be. And if I understand correctly in the comics, she is more of a villain, less of an anti-hero. And like, as soon as, Barry shows up, she tries to run away. And so she tells him, don't touch me. And of course, his first thought is, this is her trying to get, because that's also what you would say to someone like, I don't know, for example, ICE, if they try to arrest you and you didn't, you don't want to go with. Like, I appreciate that technically she did do something she shouldn't have here. But, it's because the superpower. And I also really appreciated the gloves, like Rogue. I'm trying to not just say things that were also in IMDb trivia. I swear these are things that I did think of myself. Here's one. IMDb trivia notes that, Captain America also can't get drunk. See, my first thought was Wolverine, so there. There's a comic where he says, like, I don't even understand why people who don't have super healing would even drink because it's poisoning the brain. And I like that comic a lot as a kid. I don't know why TVPG allows for drinking when, like, violence has to be so heavily toned down, but okay. Anyway, I think the appearance of Clancy Brown, I am so happy that he is still alive by the end of the episode. I can hardly wait to see more of him. Yeah, absolutely love when that guy, especially when he plays like military people and such. Like, if you haven't already watched, okay, so not military, but okay, I'll name one military before I do. Starship Troopers, absolutely amazing in that movie. Other than that, I love him in Shawshank Redemption. I guess this is a decent time to briefly plug a YouTube video. So it is not exactly PG, and it's not particularly has anything to do with the episode of the show at all. but I absolutely recommend, if you are comfortable watching it, the recent video by Essence of Thought. And I'm going to have the title momentarily. Here we go. Grok belongs to the TERFs now. Predatory anti-trans creep. Really, really excellent video. But yeah, you can probably guess why it is a very unpleasant watch. But yeah, Essence of Thought. Ethel Thurston, as usual, doing really, really important work there. So I think that is the broad strokes. I'm going to get into a few more details before I close this one down. Yeah, the thing about how everyone has to leave the bar once, Eddie gets the call because he's a cop, and then everybody else makes some excuse. And I love how fake Kate's fake yawn is. And yeah, this thing of Barry wanting to tell her, although he hasn't told, and Joe knows that Barry is in love with Iris, and yeah, this thing of and the vibrating his vocal cords to change his voice, and yeah, I mean, in reality, nobody can actually run at super speed, but yeah, I mean, there are animals who will run up and down. Like squirrels can run both up and down trees, and part of the reason that they're able to stay, I appreciate, claws is also a thing, but yeah, part of it is the speed that they keep to. And yeah, so I thought that was a really great. And we did indeed get, I was not expecting them to go there this soon, but I'm really thrilled they did. That is Gorilla Grodd. Like, I knew as soon as I saw the name Grodd in the pilot, but yeah, I didn't want to give away the species of animal, but yeah, and that is both the fact that the general wanted to continue testing. I guess he had already started to test stuff on Grodd, and Harrison has other plans for Grodd's future. That was, yeah, very, very chilling, and I really enjoyed the interplay between the general and Wells. That was also really, really compelling. And I gotta say that, yeah, I guess if the episode had been made today, he'd be ICE instead of military, because certainly does act like, yeah. And I really like the fact that, yeah, we do see, Bet, when she thinks that it was done to her by the general and this doctor, she is, being very threatening and ominous with the doctor. And then she finds out, no, it wasn't done to her. It's both goes to like just basic human psychology, but also like military. If you've been attacked, you want to gather intel on the enemy and then form a plan. So that's I really appreciated how much the military aspect really informed her character. You also had at the end, Harrison giving her one last mission, so clearly he knows how to talk to someone military. And she almost tells Barry, but then dies right before it. And yeah, very clever idea. Yeah, an explosion underwater is indeed going to be significantly less dangerous because the pressure, like it'll displace a bunch of water, but as long as that water is far enough away, yeah, that does check out. I am not speaking from experience. And I really appreciate how this episode sets up, like, yeah, the general and his forces may well be back. They may continue to be a problem. And, yeah, as much as Wells pretends to not, clearly the general does know. Yeah, Wells knew about, he's, yeah. I quite like the scene where they test the powers and the thing with, like, holding up Kate holds up what's it called, a boomerang, and is like, you didn't really think this one through, did you? And also the fact that he is like, I can't believe somebody destroyed my suit. I want revenge. And then he sees her and he's like, she looks like that. And yeah, very, very typical straight guy. And I think that might just about cover the yeah, really appreciated how complex several of the characters here are. I'm gonna miss Plastique, but I appreciate, they can't keep around absolutely everyone. And I guess that does pretty much cover all of the sort of major things that I had for this one. Right, really appreciated that the fact Iris, yeah, she, at least, it started at least with she wanted to prove that the impossible was possible because Barry, as she wanted, yeah, it's sweet and sad, and yeah, I think that does cover the yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens next, and yeah, so I let's see. I guess that is it for this entire one. So yeah, I think I've covered everything that I really wanted to comment on. If there's something that I didn't bring up, ask me in the comments, and it will most likely be text, comment, response, or maybe I'll get back to you in an upcoming video on Arrowverse when my back is better, because now I know how much pressure I can not put on it in order, if I will, because I do really want these treatments to last at least an entire week. Now, yeah, it really is like Clancy Brown in roles like this. Just, he's so wonderfully tenacious, and like, there were several times in this episode where he would say something or do something, and I would be like, come on, Eiling,